Somewhere in Tokyo, right now there's a bar with only 6 seats, hidden behind a vending machine that isn't actually a vending machine. You'd walk past it 100 times and never know it existed. That's the thing about this city. The Tokyo you see in photographs, the neon and the crowds, and the crossing everyone films, that's not even the real show. The real show starts after the sun goes down, when the salarymen loosen their ties, when the alleyways start glowing, when a city of 37 million people somehow feels like it's whispering secrets just to you. Tonight, we're not doing the postcard version. We're going into the Tokyo most tourists walk past without ever noticing. The bar's smaller than your bathroom. The shrine that sits in near total silence 2 minutes from the loudest intersection on Earth. The noodle stall where a 90-year-old woman has been making the same broth since before your parents were born. By the end of this, you're going to look at Tokyo completely differently. And somewhere around the middle, I promise you're going to say, out loud, to no one, wait, that's real? The energy of Shibuya after sunset lets start where most people do, and where almost nobody actually understands what they're looking at, Shibuya Crossing. You've seen it 1,000 times online, but nothing prepares you for standing at the edge of it the first time. The countdown ticks down, and for 3 seconds, it's just you and a wall of people, frozen, waiting. Then the light changes and over 3,000 people step off the curb at once, moving in every direction. And somehow, nobody collides. It looks chaotic. It isn't. There's an unspoken rhythm to it, a kind of silent choreography that Tokyo has been perfecting for decades. Stand on the second floor of the Starbucks overlooking the crossing at dusk. Right when the neon starts competing with the fading sky, and you'll understand why photographers call this exact 10 minutes the blue hour. It's the only time the city looks like it's breathing. Hidden alleys and Tokyo's secret nightlife, but that's only the beginning. Because 2 streets away from all that noise, tucked behind a parking garage, there's a stretch of alleys called Nombe Yokocho. Drunkard's Alley, where World War II-era shanty buildings still stand, somehow untouched by decades of redevelopment. Each bar seats maybe 4 or 5 people. The bartender knows everyone's name by the second visit. You'll smell grilled skewers and cigarette smoke, and something sweet, plum wine maybe, drifting out of a doorway barely wide enough to walk through sideways. Sit down at one of these places and within 20 minutes, a stranger will be pouring you a drink and asking where you're from. This is the Tokyo nobody puts in the brochure. Because you can't photograph a feeling like that. You just have to be there. Just when you think you've found the real Tokyo, the city pulls you somewhere else entirely. Head north into Yanaka, and it's like someone hit pause on the 20th century. No towers here. No flashing signs, just narrow lanes, wooden houses, and a cemetery so peaceful that locals actually come here to walk their cats, yes cats, on leashes, at sunset. Yanaka survived the 1923 earthquake and the firebombing of World War II almost entirely intact, which means the incense shops and senbei crackers stalls you see today are the same ones your great-grandparents might have wandered past. Old men play shogi on wooden crates outside tea houses. A cat, and there are dozens roaming freely here, will probably follow you for half a block before losing interest. This is a 5-minute train ride from some of the busiest streets on the planet. And almost nobody visits. There's one hidden spot almost nobody talks about, and it might be the strangest, most beautiful place in the entire city. It's called the Golden Guy, a tangle of 6 narrow alleys packed with over 200 tiny bars, most no bigger than a closet, each one built around a single obsessive theme. One bar plays nothing but 1980s Japanese punk rock on vinyl. Another is decorated floor to ceiling with horror movie memorabilia. Another only serves whiskey and only seats 3 people at a time. Novelists and filmmakers used to drink here in the 50s when it was a black market district, and that same rebellious, anything-goes energy still hangs in the air. Walk through after 10 p.m. and the alleys glow gold, lanterns swinging, muffled laughter leaking through paper doors, and you genuinely feel like you've stepped into a different decade. Cherry blossoms and the beauty of impermanence. What happens here every spring is almost impossible to believe. When cherry blossom season hits, usually late March into early April, the entire city seems to hold its breath. Locals check blossom forecasts the way other places check hurricane warnings. Along the Meguro River, thousands of cherry trees bloom in a single explosive week, and at night they're lit from below, turning the whole riverbank into a soft pink tunnel. People sit under the trees for hours with friends, drinking, eating, doing almost nothing, just existing under the blossoms. Because everyone knows the flowers will be gone within days. There's a word for this in Japanese, mono no aware, the bittersweet awareness, that beauty means more precisely because it doesn't last. Once you understand that phrase, you understand something essential about how this entire city thinks. Tokyo's unforgettable food culture. And then there's the food, which honestly deserves its own journey entirely. Not the sushi restaurants with the 2-year waiting lists, though those exist. I mean the ramen counter under the train tracks in Shinjuku, where the broth has been simmering for 18 hours, and the only menu item is a button on a vending machine. I mean standing shoulder to shoulder with strangers at a yakitori stall as smoke curls up past red paper lanterns, the smell of charred chicken skin mixing with the cold night air. Tokyo has more Michelin stars than Paris and London combined, and yet some of the best meals you'll ever eat here cost less than your morning coffee back home and come from a stall with 6 stools and no name on the door. A city between silence and the future the next place changes everything you thought you knew about this city's relationship with nature. Take the elevator up to the observation deck of a building most tourists skip, somewhere quiet, unlisted in the top 10 guides, and wait for a clear night. Below you, the city doesn't look like concrete anymore. It looks like a circuit board lit from within, endless grids of light stretching toward Mount Fuji, which on the clearest days appears as a pale silhouette on the horizon. Like the whole city is being watched over. Up there, above the noise, above the crowds, Tokyo goes completely silent. You can hear your own heartbeat. After hours spent surrounded by more people than you've ever seen in your life, that silence hits differently than any sound could. This city has a way of rewriting what you thought a place could feel like. 1 hour you're swallowed by crowds and neon and noise. The next you're standing utterly alone beneath a 1,000-year-old torii gate. Incense smoke curling past your face. The modern world feeling impossibly far away. Tokyo doesn't ask you to choose between ancient and future, chaos and calm, tradition and reinvention. It hands you all of it at once, and somehow none of it feels like a contradiction. So maybe the question isn't whether Tokyo belongs on your list. Maybe it's which version of Tokyo you'll fall in love with first, the one lit in neon, or the one lit by paper lanterns and cherry blossoms. Either way, this city has a way of staying with you long after you've left it. If this journey inspired you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which destination you're adding to your bucket list.